Well, greetings all. Welcome back to my channel, Michelle Lives Well. I'm glad you were able to join me today. Today's discussion is going to be on the topic of prioritizing yourself and your health. This is a PSA to all of my helpers out there and people pleasers, and to anyone out there who tends to put others before themselves for many different reasons. So this is a PSA, a reminder, a loving reminder to you all to prioritize yourself and your health and what that looks like. So since I was a little girl, I have been this helper. Helping is just something that comes natural to me. It's innate. It feels like it is literally a part of my being. So I truly believe that this is how God made me. And it's not a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing. Thank you, God, for making me the way you did. But what I find is that it becomes problematic when I place others above myself, their needs before mine, their well-being before mine, so much so that it's not just one person, it's multiple people, because again, this is how I operate, this is how I function as a human being. And I find it as like this selflessness, me doing this, it feels right to me, it feels genuine to me. But at the same time, with me being all these things to other people, for other people, by saying yes to all of these people, to all of these things, stretching myself very thin, I am inevitably saying no to myself and my well-being. I tend to be the type of helper that people come to when they just don't know what to do. They don't know how to figure something out. And so they come to me and I help troubleshoot, I help problem solve. I absolutely love doing that. Being a part of brainstorming sessions, helping to problem solve, helping to see things in a way that others aren't seeing it. I can easily find gaps and system breakdowns and things like that. And I can come up with solutions that might be off the wall to some people, but to me, it makes perfect sense. It's just how my brain functions, right? And so for me, that's an amazing gift. And I know God gave it to me because I'm supposed to help others with it. But I understood the term boundaries, and I've had boundaries, but my boundaries in the past were flexible. They were like, okay, yeah, one day this is a boundary, but if this is really a need, then I'll ease back on this boundary. If this is something that this person really is requiring of me, then okay, my line is not that hard in the sand. It's a little faint, right? It's not a strong, dark, deep line. It's not a hard, solid no. In fact, I struggled saying no a long time. So I was flexible. I was fluid. It was just based on that day, that person, and what the need was. And that is not how boundaries work. That is not how they work at all. So I had to prioritize myself and my health. What I came up with for me are non-negotiable boundaries. So non-negotiable boundaries. I first heard this term in counseling 2008, 2009, and I was in counseling, and the counselor asked, what is your non-negotiables? What are your non-negotiables? Like in relationships, what are your non-negotiables? Really in my 30s, I started understanding that my relationships, having boundaries, having non-negotiables, need to extend beyond just a romantic relationship. And so my non-negotiables are not just something that I would have for my husband, my spouse, my partner. It would be for all of my relationships, including in business. What are my non-negotiables? What are things that I'm not willing to budge on? And once I merged the two with having non-negotiables and establishing boundaries, I had the perfect marriage of non-negotiable boundaries. And so I start implementing those things that were for me absolutely not. This is not even a deep dark. This is a bold red. I will not budge on this, and I'm doing this unapologetically because my health and well-being matters. The main way that I have started to prioritize myself and my health is by actually scheduling it on my calendar. I use a calendar for everything. I used to only use it for business, for my job. Well, then it was like, I don't do it if it's not on the calendar. So let me create a calendar, a schedule, alarms for myself, for my health. And so outside of business, working for a 9 to 5, I started to do it for everything in my life. So I started out with just doing alarms on my phone and just having all the things that I need on there as a reminder that it's priority. So the first thing that you'll see on my phone is waking up early in the morning to get my daughter off and to work out. I must prioritize working out in the morning before my day get going, because as a helper and as a person that do things with excellence and a bit of a perfectionist, I must admit, but that's a different story for another time, I exert a lot of energy in all the things that I do. So if I do not get my workout in first thing in the morning, me trying to get it in the evening time, I nine times out of 10 will not work out in the evening time. I've done that, for a week or two at a time when I had to because of, work projects, things like that, deadlines. I've in the past worked out my lunch break, but I also worked out in the morning time. I was doing 2 days at that time. But 95% of my time since I've been working out have been in the morning time. It's just best for me. I'm an early riser. And so then other than working out in the morning, I have my things set in blocks, so time blocks. Here you'll see the breakdown of the various alarms I've set. These are the tasks throughout my day that I deem as priority. These are my must-haves above all. These are things that I will get done no matter what else comes up my way throughout my day. A little rhyming there. This is simply a snapshot of my day-to-day. So boundaries, people, boundaries. I had to prioritize myself first. Forever, I have done it the opposite way, and I have gotten so doggone overwhelmed, tired, exhausted, where, even if I am on a health kick, that's what we used to call it, a health kick, or, doing some type of diet, when you get overwhelmed, it's just like it goes kaput. And so for me, turning this thing over, flipping it on its head, where I prioritize myself first before I do anything for anyone else, is key. And I have more energy throughout my day. I'm joyful because I prioritize my health by prioritizing myself, right? And whatever I have left for them, I'm able to do it still with excellence, but I am not depleted. What I start doing is having breaks in my day, checkpoints with myself. Checkpoints throughout my day. So in the morning, get my workout and things in, taking care of myself, taking care of my business, constantly growing and developing, whatever I need to do before I do anything for anybody else's business. And then at 11 o'clock, I have my break. 3 o'clock, I have my break. Lunchtime, I have a break, right? And all those breaks is allowing me to be able to get away from the things that are completely draining me of my energy. In order for me to be able to continue to operate at optimal levels, with excellence, a bit of a perfectionist again, I admit, I have to excel at things. It's just how I am. It's how I'm wired. And I had to really, honestly, God had to sit me down. He had to lay me down so I could rest and then show me how to do this thing a different way. He did not put me and he did not put you on this earth to be run down, to be exhausted, and to be run over. You must set boundaries and you must prioritize yourself and your health if you want to live a long life and live it well. It's not the move, y'all. It's just not the move to be all the things to all the people and to be nothing to yourself. That's not how he intended it at all. He gave us these temples, so we must prioritize these temples, these vessels, over anything else. We cannot be anything for anyone if we're not anything for ourselves. Remember that, okay? So boundaries, setting boundaries for yourself is vital, and making sure that you communicate those boundaries out to other people and making sure that they're non-negotiable. So they're non-negotiable. That means I have it on my calendar. Don't schedule anything on my calendar at these times because I have prioritized myself overall. And my calendar times there's no end date. Okay, so my mental health dates, 11 and 3 o'clock, are in there. There is no end date, and it is priority overall. Okay, and when I have moments where it's like, oh, I give myself some slack, nope, don't give yourself no slack. Don't give them no slack neither. It's about your health and your well-being, so you have to prioritize it, because I guarantee you, if you don't prioritize you, no one else will. You are your responsibility, so you must prioritize yourself and your health, or no one else will. And again, they might not be doing that intentionally. They just might be out for getting help for themselves. And some of them are doing things intentionally, but it's not necessarily to drain you. It's more so they're going to take and take because they know you're going to give and give. So you have to set those boundaries for yourself and for your health by prioritizing yourself and your health. I hope you guys are getting that, because it took me, I'm 35, it took me some years to get that. And so hopefully I am expressing that and explaining that. And as you see, it's a lot of passion here because I get it. If no one else get it, I get it. And so I'm trying to convey these life learned lessons that God has taught me in a very, very tough love kind of way. So prioritize yourself overall and schedule that thing on your calendar. Put alarms on it. Put notes up around your house. Make it plain to your family as well. And by you doing that, you will also be the example to other people. As I've grown and developed in my career and, went back for graduate school and my kids got older and the demand got higher, it became harder and harder because with all of those duties and responsibilities, it stretches you thin and it runs you down quick. So I experienced that. You guys, it is Wholeness Wednesday. And in order to be whole, you have to be together. And you can't be together. All the pieces and parts of you won't function and operate at optimal levels the way that God designed it if you don't prioritize yourself to be able to do that. Many of us are walking around in this world stressed and stretched, like chronically stressed, chronically stretched. And I am coming to you, first person experience, passing this message along that God clearly poured into me. Do not shorten your life on this earth because you did not set boundaries and prioritize yourself or your health so that you can live a full life. We weren't put here to live short, dark lives. We weren't put here to live lives full of toxicity. We were put here to live full lives with optimal health and wellness, lives full of vitality, right? So do yourself a favor. Prioritize yourself over everything else. You will thank yourself. I promise you, it completely changed my outlook on life. I'm still able to help people. And this is why I want to tell you helpers out there who might cringe at the message that I gave, but I'm still able to help people and I'm still able to feel full. I'm still able to feel full by helping those. But now I do it in a way where I don't get depleted. I don't get run down. I can help more people by prioritizing myself and by prioritizing my health than if I were to prioritize everybody else. I'm able to operate at optimal levels. My engine is going and I'm replenishing throughout the day. Therefore, I can help more people, right? But I first had to help myself. Okay, so you helpers out there, you first have to help yourself. It's very important that you realize how vital your life is to earth, to your time on this earth. So I am going to encourage you and challenge you just like I did my son. Get all the things out, lay it out, and then start to look at how much time do you have in a day? How much time do you have in a day? And first, before you put anything on your calendar, in your alarms on your phone, the very first thing I challenge you to do is to put in your time blocks where you are going to prioritize yourself and your health first. And then after you prioritize yourself, how are you going to prioritize the other things in the order that you prioritize things? So if after you prioritize yourself, if your kids is the next priority, or your spouse, your kids, your work, your volunteer, whatever, however you prioritize, that's on you. But I'm telling you, numero uno is prioritizing yourself, because that's what God blessed you with, your vessel, your temple. So prioritize yourself first. And then after you prioritize yourself, prioritize your priorities, okay? And do it in a way where you have numbers, you have dates attached to it. You need numbers and dates attached to that thing, okay? And all of this will help you to be painfully aware of realistically what can you do for others after you first do for yourself. And you will see that I don't have all the time in the world to do everything for others if I take care of myself. But realistically, I can spread this thing out over some days. Throughout the week, I can be better at helping others because I first help myself. And you're not being run down, and you keep your zest, and you stay motivated and encouraged and empowered and uplifted, and you're able to pour into others. With that, I'm going to say farewell for now. I hope you enjoy this Wholeness Wednesday. I hope that this was insightful to you, a help to you in some type of way. Look, this is how I am able to be a helper, right? That this has been some type of help for you, or somebody that you know that may need this message. I ask that you pass this along, share this with them, subscribe to this channel. I pray that you got the message that was put on my heart to give out to you all. I pray that you share it with someone else that is in need of it, that might be struggling with this thing and you just don't know how to help them. Well, from one helper to another, pass the message along, and I pray that it bless them. Until next time, live well on purpose, live well with intention, live well from the inside out by first taking care of yourself and your health by setting boundaries and prioritizing you above all. You won't regret it. All right? Be well, all.